Here we have Red West putting his fist in Elvis's throat, and Elvis is going to display his chi power or key power and pushing Red West and Al Holcomb backwards. I was amazed at why Elvis would jeopardize his vocal cords and allowing somebody to do this. He's introducing Al Holcomb there, and Al's going to be putting on some self-defense technique moves, primarily things that work off of punches. And you'll be able to see better angles of this in a few minutes as we get rolling here. Now, Elvis started training in the martial arts when he was in the military over in Germany. And he studied, had about 3 famous instructors that he studied under. Al Holcomb was one of our gladiators for this movie, but Elvis loved the passion and the discipline that the martial arts offered to us. And my name is Wayne Carman, and I'm getting to narrate this film for you today. This is a unique experience for me, and the time I got to spend with Elvis was a mountaintop experience for me. I'm also the author of Elvis's Karate Legacy. I've written it, and it talks about Elvis's life and times in the martial arts and how he used the martial arts to better himself, not only physically, but mentally and spiritually as well. The martial arts is 3 phases of training. It covers the physical, the mental, and the spiritual aspect of one's life. That's one reason Elvis wanted to do this documentary and promoting the martial arts worldwide. He thought it was great for children as well as adults, and he just loved the physical activity that it offered. These gentlemen here are just displaying some of the unique techniques that the martial arts offer. This gentleman here was from another school that was in Memphis. He was real quick and agile, and one of our gladiators that we had. You can hear Elvis talking in the background. Oh, that's a good move right there. It's a hard move to actually execute too, but it's real pretty when you have someone such as this gentleman or a real good black belt doing these moves. Elvis really, you'll see him, he's like the star of this film. He wanted other people to be recognized as well. He really didn't want all the big publicity for it. He is discussing and demonstrating these 5 moves, and I'll talk more about them on another camera view. You can see the passion he loved training with. He has Mr. Stanley here on the side of his neck where his pressure points run up between the muscles. He's striking him to the groin right here. And again, we have a better camera view here. In just a moment, you'll be able to see it. But Elvis had tremendous control over his techniques. His hands was just fabulous, mostly from the Kempo style that he trained with. Now this right here is another gladiator. This is Superfoot Bill Wallace. Bill was one of the best, or not one of the best, but the best martial artist in the world. He was undefeated, and here he is demonstrating that famous left leg. You can see just kick, the hair flies up on Red's head. And Red was a real tough martial artist. He enjoyed that contact from it and enjoyed getting hit on, just so he could really see how these techniques would work and apply. And he trained real hard. I won't ever forget when I first started training Red. I was actually, how I kind of fell into this was I was one of the best in the country with a weapon called the nunchucks. And Elvis actually got my name and phone number from Charlie Church so I could train Red West on the weapon called the nunchucks. And he was just a dedicated student. Now this is Dave Hebler here. Dave was one of Elvis's bodyguards, but one of Ed Parker's right-hand men in his system. He was a fascinating martial artist as well. He loved the laws of physics. They love going through these patterns. They're like about 17 moves to him, and he could go through them in like 2.5 seconds. These elbow strikes are just devastating. Difficult to hurt your elbow, but real easy to hurt an opponent with. And this is an angle view shooting into the mirrors. We actually had 3 cameras set up this evening shooting, so you'll get to see all of these events from many different angles. Once again, he's demonstrating his chi power with Red putting his fist in his throat. I was always amazed why he'd do this for a room full of people. Now he's going to take a shot from Red to the ribs. And the scream is what we call a ki-op. It's a way of generating more power. Or being able to absorb more pain without feeling it. I was amazed seeing the pistol fall and hit the ground so hard. There'll be another camera view here in just a moment. Now, this technique that Elvis is doing here, where he's holding that gun, is one of the best ways to keep him getting shot, even accidentally. Elvis loved these self-defense moves. Striking to the temple there, he's gouging the eyes out. There's an old saying, a finger in the eye will make a grown man cry, and you'll notice he does that quite a bit. Now here he's doing some eye gouging again. He'll turn him around. He's going to strike, actually do 2 strikes there, breaking the nose and hitting the eyes at the same time. And then an elbow to the sternum, and then a back fist to the throat, and then he hits him in the groin. Now that's a ripping effect that he's doing. It's like a tiger claw, eagle claw to the face. Elvis loved using these techniques in his performances on stage as well. Here he's striking the pressure points in his face. It's a pretty devastating strike. If you don't know what it's like, it's very painful. Now he's splitting the fingers and striking both eyes. He loves that technique. Striking to the throat, that's a great place to go. Solar plexus and then to the groin. Then a takedown. And then he'll follow it up, stomping him to the groin. You can't see it here. Now, right here, you can see Elvis getting on his knees. This is what you do when someone pulls a gun on you at 10 feet away. You start praying. You can see a sense of humor. He loved this. Oh, and he says, the old master says, no way to stop bullet. And this is Kong Rhee. Kong Rhee came over to the United States in 1964 from Seoul, Korea. He was real small in stature. He weighed about 140 pounds, and he could almost defy gravity. But Elvis loved his ability because of how fast he was and his ability to do jumping kicks. He was a great kicker. Difficult to understand. He was Korean. And that ring that Kong Rhee has on his right hand there, Elvis gave that to him. It was a lion ring. And this is part of our 17 lethal weapon movements that Kong Rhee did. It's part of our system of the Pasaru system. And he's real pretty doing this. Elvis enjoyed this. And this is what Elvis really liked, was Mr. Rhee's kickings. Here we are meditating. We do this normally before and after class. He's leading us in our meditation, and it's a spiritual thing that we'd experience. Here we are at Kong Rhee School. This is in Whitehaven. That's me right behind the post there. This was a mountaintop experience for me.
Of course, you know, more than what I say, but if I'm not enough to say that, then I cannot see you. That's all I can say. That's how the question.
He would call him master. When you get to a certain rank in the martial arts, in our system it was 5th degree and above. He's showing off an injury that Elvis experienced a couple of weeks prior to this that got infected. a girl reached to touch him to try to pull a ring off and dug the meat out of the back of his hand.
If I go this way, you have 150 feet already.
Now Elvis gets a kick out of this. Like, why are you doing this, Connery? But he had an ingrowing toenail.
A rough toenail.
That's me right there on the left again behind Elvis.
And every time, how to move around, he had to pull the nail to blow it inside over the, down to it. Pull the whole toenail off and we just lift it off like that. And it was just 4 hours. What to do, ladies and gentlemen and children, I'd like to share with you a few of the things which I've been privileged to learn myself. I'd like to demonstrate, first of all, the power, the inner power called the chi, C-H-I, or the C-I, or in India it's called Dharma, D-H-A-R-M-A. It's the inner force, life within all of us, causes us to breathe. The force, I would like to show you how to use this force to keep from getting hurt. So I call web